Okay. Okay, I think I have to hold this bad boy because my voice has been soft. It's just a little soft. I know you can turn the volume all the way up, but I would prefer you guys to be able to hear me at a natural volume. I hope this is okay. I don't know, did I blow it out? Is it the technology? Is it me? Um, we're not blaming any situation here nor there, but um, can I keep this? Like, I want to keep it consistent, but I think I just have to hold this because my voice is, I won't be projecting. I won't be doing that. No, 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 no. Um, okay, so I will try maybe a little bit of protection because, okay, well, it is what it is. Habakkuk, let's read Habakkuk, okay? I know a lot of us have this desire to talk to the Lord, right? And it's something I promise you we can do. But in terms of getting that direct answer and having this conversation, is very difficult, okay? And let me just give you a little bit of frame because this prophet here, Habakkuk, he's one of the majorly revealed prophets, but is a minor prophet. He was an oracle, right? And this book actually is Habakkuk's conversation with the Lord, and then God's answers recorded. And we knew these prophets and kings who did have these conversations with the Lord, but I do want to put you in the frame of mind of like an oracle and like what it takes to be that clear of a channel and that clear of an oracle. There's a lot of uh separation, right, from society. You have to be set apart. You have to be kind of out in the wilderness from time to time. You have to be eating very low amount of calories because that veil, right, that veil kind of needs to disappear. I mean, it's there, but it's just, it would be very, very thin. So the amount of like ex exercise, I guess I could just call it exercise, that it takes to kind of take yourself out of this noise of the world, right? And place yourself into the bubble that is the oracle bubble or the prophet bubble, somebody who's extremely close to God, right? It takes a lot of effort. So don't be discouraged, right? If you're not getting these like paragraphs and sentences like this prophet here is receiving from God. It takes a lot. It's not something that's so much of an easy task just to take yourself out of society, take yourself out of the world, and really deprive yourself of any worldly desire, right? To get to this point, it takes a lot. So just don't beat yourself up. We have these texts for a reason, to be able to look and see examples of, God's conversations with us and what that sounds like, and how we can get there. Obviously, if you would like to, it takes a lot of work, so just don't be discouraged. It takes time, dedication, prayer. I know it's so hard to get into our prayer. We got to get into our prayer, you guys. Just again, just like that, those little times that we set aside for the Lord is so important. I'm in princess mode right now. I'm not praying during this time for reasons. If you're a woman and you're a Muslim, you know exactly what those reasons are. So I'm in princess mode. So I'm just going to be reading to you, not out of the Quran for now, but this is okay for now. God bless you guys. All right, Habakkuk, let's go ahead and begin. So this is the prophecy that Habakkuk the prophet received. All right, and Habakkuk has a complaint. What is this complaint? Says, this is probably what a lot of us are feeling, so this is good to read. How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen, or cry out to you violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore, the law is paralyzed, and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in the righteous, the wicked hem in the righteous, so that the justice is perverted. Wow. Can we relate? Yeah, we can relate. This is what a lot of us are feeling. This is a great thing to actually read. And again, this is that position of an oracle, right? A prophet who's depriving himself, right? Probably a little bit physically exhausted, energetically exhausted, and he's tired, right? He's tired. He's feeling what we all are feeling, right? Maybe we are all kind of at this place. This is that prophet, that oracle, right? And he's having a very pessimistic, if you will, outlook on life. All right, so this is that frame that I was talking about. And guess what? We have an answer from the Lord. So let's go ahead and sit with this. I'm just going to read. I'm trying not to interject, but I just wanted to like expound upon how, wow, that is what a lot of us are feeling. Okay. This is the Lord's answer. Look at the nations and watch and be utterly amazed. For I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told. I am raising up the Babylonians, that ruthless and impetuous people who sweep across the whole earth to seize dwellings not their own. They are feared and dreaded. They are a feared and dreaded people. They are law to themselves and promote their own honor. Their horses are swifter than leopards, fiercer than wolves at dusk. Their cavalry gallops headlong, their horsemen come from afar. They fly like an eagle swooping to devour. They all come intent on violence. Their hordes advance like a desert wind and gather prisoners like sand. They mock kings, they scoff at rulers, they laugh at all the fortified cities. By building earthen ramps, they capture them. Then they sweep past like the wind and go on. Guilty people whose strength is their God. Habakkuk's second complaint. Lord, are you not from everlasting? My God, my Holy One, you will never die. You, Lord, have appointed them to execute judgment. You, my rock, have ordained them to punish. Your eyes are too pure to look on evil. You cannot tolerate wrongdoing. Why then do you tolerate the treacherous? Why are you silent while the wicked swallow up those more righteous than themselves? You have made people like the fish in the sea, like the sea creatures that have no ruler. The wicked foe pulls up all of them with hooks. He catches them in his net. He gathers them in his dragnet, and so he rejoices and is glad. Therefore he sacrifices to his net and burns incense to his dragnet. For by his net he lives in luxury and enjoys the choicest food. Is he to keep on emptying the net, destroying the nations without mercy? I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me, and what answer am I to give to this complaint. The Lord responds, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and it will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. See, the enemy is puffed up. His desires are not upright, but the righteous person will live by his faithfulness. Indeed, wine betrays him. He is arrogant and never at rest. Because he is as greedy as the grave, and like death is never satisfied. He gathers to himself all the nations and takes captive all the peoples. Will not all of them taunt him with ridicule and scorn, saying, woe to him who piles up stolen goods and makes himself wealthy by extortion? How long must this go on? Will not your creditors suddenly arise? Will they not wake up and make you tremble? Then you will become their prey, because you have plundered many nations. The peoples who are left will plunder you, for you have shed human blood. You have destroyed lands and cities and everyone in them. Woe to him who builds his house by unjust gain, setting his nest on high to escape the clutches of ruin. You have plotted the ruin of many peoples, shaming your own house and forfeiting your life. The stones of the wall will cry out, and the beams of the woodwork will echo it. Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establishes a town by injustice. Has not the Lord Almighty determined that the people's labor is only fuel for the fire, that the nations exhaust themselves for nothing? For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbors, pouring it from the wineskin till they are drunk, so that he can gaze on their naked bodies. You will be filled with shame instead of glory. Now it is your turn. Drink, and let your nakedness be exposed. The cup from the Lord's right hand is coming around to you, and disgrace will cover your glory. The violence you have done to Lebanon will overwhelm you, and your destruction of animals will terrify you, for you have shed human blood. You have destroyed, lands and cities and everyone in them. Of what value is an idol carved by a craftsman, or an image that teaches lies? For the one who makes it trusts in his own creation. He makes idols that cannot speak. Woe to him who says to wood, "Come to life," or to a lifeless stone, "Wake up." Can it give guidance? Is it covered with gold and silver, but there's no breath in it? The Lord in his holy temple, the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent before him. Okay. Habakkuk's prayer. So now he's understanding. Okay. He prays in response. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet on Shigionoth. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. Lord, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds, Lord. Repeat them in our day. In our own time, make them known. In wrath, remember mercy. God came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens, and his praise filled the earth. His splendor was like the sunrise. Rays flashed from his hand where his power was hidden. Plague went before him, pestilence followed his steps. He stood and shook the earth. He looked and made the nations tremble. The ancient mountains crumbled and the age-old hills collapsed, but he marches on forever. I saw the tents of Cushan in distress, the dwellings of Midian in anguish. Were you angry with the rivers, Lord? Was your wrath against the streams? Did you rage against the sea when you rode your horses and your chariots to victory? You uncovered your bow. You called for many arrows. You split the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and writhed. Torrents of water swept by. The deep roared and lifted its waves on high. Sun and moon stood still in the heavens at the glint of your flying arrows, at the lightning of your flashing spear. In the wrath you strode through the earth, and in your anger you threshed the nations. You came out to deliver your people, to save your anointed one. You crushed the leader of the land of wickedness. You stripped him from head to foot. With his own spear you pierced his head when his warriors stormed out to scatter us, gloating as though about to devour the wretched who were in hiding. You trampled the sea with your horses, churning the great waters. I heard and my heart pounded. My lips quivered at the sound. Decay crept into my bones and my legs trembled. Yet I will wait patiently for the day of calamity to come on the nation invading us. Though the fig tree does not bud and there are no grapes on the vines, though the olive crop fails and the fields produce no food, though there are no sheep in the pen and no cattle in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God my Savior. The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer, enables me to tread on the heights. It says, for the director of music on my stringed instruments. Cool. So this is turned into music, this prayer, Habakkuk's prayer. That's it, you guys, that's it. So we hear God saying, and this is what he says, right? He says he will send, this is obviously, we understand the time frame. This is where before exile, right? Before Israel is told to get out, he's saying here, Babylon will come, right? He's saying Babylon, even though they are not my image of saviors, right? They're not the best people, right? They're saying Babylon will come and move everything along, move everything like it's supposed to. So again, this is before exile. This is before that they're talking about this. And did this calamity come? Yes. And so when we read this, what are we feeling? Right? We're feeling that this calamity, right, is bound to happen again, but it's going to be more final, right? This is going to be a more final, cry, we're talking about the great and terrible day with other prophets, with other messengers, right? And something that I did want to clarify, when I say that there are prophets here, right? There are prophets here. Muhammad is true in Islam, is he was the last prophet. Okay, so anybody after Muhammad, does that mean they're not a prophet? No, they are a prophet. They were also prophets back in that day as well. Okay, it's the same spirit, same anointing, if you will. If we talk about reincarnation, that's what that is, right? It's an anointing. So it's the same anointing. So whomever makes a prophet today, by today's standards, was also a prophet back in the day, right? Whether they're mentioned in the books or not, they were prophets then, they're prophets now, they're the same. Okay, so just to be clear. But needless to say, this is happening, right? This is happening. There are prophets discussing it. I do agree. I feel like I I go based off of what I feel, right? What I feel in my emotions, what I feel in my heart. Things just begin to line up, right? Things that I see, and out in the open, I witness things that I see. I'm like, oh, it's time, right? It's time. I just know. Again, I cannot offer, right, that prediction as to when. I can't do that. It's not something that I will do, but the best that we can do is prepare and rest, right? So we're preparing, but we're also actively waiting. We have to actively wait, and it might be a good idea to start while we may be getting comfortable and settled, right? Maybe kind of just lift up the roots just a little bit, right? Loosen the dirt under the roots just a little bit. Maybe we don't have to be so hell bent on staying put, if you know what I mean. And I won't speak any fear. I'm not telling you you need to move and do anything like that now, but we're starting to kind of loosen the dirt and loosen the gravel below us, right? Because we're saying here, right, the fig tree is not budding, there are no grapes on the vines, the olive crop fails, right? Is great. We're blessed to have all that we have, right? And we're blessed and we're grateful and we're thankful to have the abundance that we have. um but is it really, right? Is it really the dream that we were promised, right? Is this really the vision and the most that we could ever get, right? No, we have a great and a much bigger promise and a much bigger um gift coming to us later, right? It's a special gift. So we just have to be in awareness and just patient and understanding of what's to come. But again, no fear. This is happening very carefully, right? It's a careful dismantling, right? And could there be that? Will there be? I shouldn't say could. Will there be that great event that really makes it very clear and known and uh, certain? Yes, of course. That is the main thing that we are discussing here. But as we know, when we talk about the exile back in these texts here, in these prophets, they're talking about the exile. They're actually foretelling that great event, right? The exile was a great event, but that was more just a transition. That was a transition. It was a time marker. It was very great, but it happened over time, right? This was a movement that happened over time. So we can actually mirror that movement, and we can actually start to understand exactly what kind of stages took place during that exile at that time, and we can understand, okay, the movement that we have to be doing can be at a pace of this nature. Again, not trying to get wrapped up and caught and stuck in the snares of the attackers, right? Of the people that are exerting violence and things like that. We want to stay away from that, um, be out of the way, if you will. So it's great. It's definitely getting very sweaty and warm. I had to close the windows. I couldn't tell if it was because I had the windows and the doors open that you were having a hard time hearing me. So I apologize for this muted sound. I don't know what's going on here. I do my best. I do my best. Let's just put it at that. Will I go on to read Zephaniah, son of Cushi? Around during the reign of Josiah, king Ammon of Judah, received everything away, man and beast. Oof. Judgment. So, I mean, right here, it is talking about judgment on the whole earth in the day of the Lord. So again, when I was talking about like when the prophets are talking about, yes, they're talking about exile, yes, they're talking about Babylonia and their destruction that will take place in Israel, but what they're also mentioning is this judgment. And like I said, God's perspective is so much greater. So when he's talking about judgment, he's not talking about just the exile or just the destruction and the dismantling of Israel that happened at that time, because that did happen. But they're actually discussing here this judgment of the whole earth, which is a much more serious event. This is much more serious. Birds of sky. Yep. Um, and that's the what is prophesied to be coming very soon in our lifetime. I know it's like I can't even. It's hard for me to even say, right? But that's just what's been prophesied. So I have to, just take heed, right? We listen to each other. We don't discredit one another here in this space. We don't discredit one another. We don't brush it off as some crazy happening, because all of these people were seen as crazy as well. And now we have a book that's lasted thousands and thousands of years, that's here for us today to read about. So we literally cannot make the same mistake of discrediting one another and things like that. We really do have to take heed, and we have to listen to each other. We have to instill trust, right? This is the season of trust. This is the year of trust. We have to trust. And to give you guys just a little bit of outlook, I think 2022 was beauty, okay, the year of beauty. 2023 was the year of obedience. 2024 patience. Okay, I guess 2023 beauty. I might be missing somewhere. 2023 beauty. 2024 was the year of obedience. We were called, right? That was when we had the call, right? And then 2024 was the year of patience, right? Just have the patience. Oh, am I mistake? Am I mistake? I can't count very well. Okay. 2023 beauty, 2024 obedience, 2025 patience, right? We were called to have our patience all last year when everything was happening and I was taking my rest. We had to have ultimate patience. And now we're 2026 into trust. We're well into this thing of trust. And what does this look like? It really means trusting each other, right? Trusting each other, trusting God, first and foremost. If we trust God, everything else falls into place. And we trust each other, we love each other. We don't inherently seek ill will in anybody, right? This not we cannot look at our brothers and our sisters and say, oh, you're a bad person, right? You're going to be swept up in the disaster. That's not, no, okay. I have to work on that myself. This is not the outlook. But we also have to be, warning of each other, right? We have to make sure we're admonishing each other, or making sure we're correcting people to get on, a good path, right? And that's very important. And really just trust one another. Always think highly and always think the best of each other, because this, how we act now, is going to set the precedent and set the standard for how we treat each other later on, right? There will be a time that there's no evil. Like, we can leave our doors open, we can leave our cars open, we will have no evil, no reason for us to even steal or hurt from one another. Can you imagine that? Like, how, like, when I say visualizing heaven on earth, like, that is how it will be. It will be that level of safety, that level of security, that level of trust, where we can fully trust our partners, right? We can fully trust our brothers and our sisters and our neighbors, enough to where, there's no ill will, right? So we have to move into that mindset, move into that way of thinking, and really start to kind of act, right? Act and visualize and treat each other how those times will be, because those are the times that are to come, and that is what we have to look forward to. So that's exciting. So start living that out, start materializing that trust, right? And yes, will there be people that would take advantage of it at this time? Maybe, right? Maybe. And if they do, what does that bring upon them, right? That is their own decision. That is, we have to be careful not to wish ill on that situation either, but that is a situation that, they made that decision for themselves, and that's kind of where they stand, right? So we have to be very careful, right? Treat each other with love and respect. Really, the evil that we see is just really like kind of like that purging that's coming out. It's like a purge almost that's happening. and we got to take it, day at a time, take it with grace, and just understand that is their position. And soon we will not have to fear, we will not have to worry about that anymore, any longer, right? And that is, I can't wait, right? That is Al Kabir, the miracle worker, right? The most glorious, most magnificent. That is his handiwork, right? Making that a reality and a safe place for us. This really will be a new earth, right? They will be completely new heavens as well. Um, and we can't wait. We're so excited, but we can't. We can't. We're just like, we're feeling so anxious. I know so many of my young people, um, being able to go out and about and speak with people and interact with people. There's some who are very, very anxious, right? But it's like an anxious, like, waiting, and they're so, these young people are so tired. They're so, I can see it on their faces. They're so like, they're like, oh my gosh, like, this is so much, right? It feels as so much pressure that we're feeling and experiencing, and we're feeling all of, like, it's like crumbling, and we're like crumbling with it, and we're carrying all the, like, pebbles on our back right now. That's how it feels. It's just like, oh, like, this is so much, right? That we're born in this time, right? But it's such a blessing to be born in this time, and to be living and breathing in this period here is a miracle. And I couldn't be happier despite all the craziness of the drama. Getting so riled up. um but God bless you guys. I love you so much. I literally love talking to you, and I love being with you, even though I can be very dramatic and I can be very serious. Just know that it's all love. Okay, I know we can't paint each other as the bad guy, but we can also see a little bit of us in here too as the big and bad Babylons, right? Babylonia. Like, we definitely, and that's part of the medicine, right? Being able to see, the good and the bad in everybody, right? And to love no matter what, and to be there no matter what. All right, so it's a good message, and it's a good medicine that we're taking to go ahead and heal through all of this. I'll start Babylonian myself. I'll stop Babylon and on. Crazy. Oh gosh. God bless you guys. We are getting really ready. We're getting so ready. And I'm so happy. And I'm so happy that you're with me and supporting me and listening to me. If you're here at the end, congratulations. You made it at the end. Probably you and a few of your friends. Um, yes, it's time for me to stop babbling. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.